Hello, my name's Thomas Allen, this is Brett Blanchett, and you're listening to Not Just Another Paranormal Podcast, where we talk about interesting topics of the paranormal and a bunch of other fun things. So, bring it over to Brett. Brett,
what's up, everybody?
Today?
Hey, what's happening? We're back. It's been a couple of years, huh?
It's been a while since we've been back. Actually, before, first we did our show, now we're doing this little podcast, which is a little bit more informal but fun.
Yeah,
you would agree.
We decided to go a little more fun. We decided to kind of not just talk about paranormal. As you can tell, we came up with a new name. Actually, I thought of this name because a race fan, I shouldn't say a race fan, it's a race car driver that I'm a fan of, and he has a podcast, and he decided to call it Not Just Another Racing Podcast. And I was like,
that's a good idea.
You can only talk about the paranormal so much.
Yeah, until you drive it into the ground.
We'd love to talk about
anything else.
Right.
Like movies or music or opinions or, whatever's
definitely,
going on,
definitely want your guys' opinions, like whatever we talk about. Yeah, maybe even come up with some suggestions, that we can talk about.
We're open to them, totally. You know what I mean? It's not a kind of closed thing. I mean, whatever you want us to talk about, we could talk about. It's up to you. Because we're all about the viewers and talk what you guys want to talk about too,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we're going to do, a few. If you see Tom wearing the same shirt with a different during a different podcast, it's because we're doing multiple.
Exactly.
During the day, so we can get them all in, because we are busy people. Don't always have time to.
Yeah, we're all doing our own kind of thing in our personal life, and
right.
it's like we did miss doing the paranormal stuff, but kind of got slow, and then with the whole introduction of COVID, that really slowed us down. Wouldn't you say, Brett? That it was like nobody wanted us in their homes, and you can't blame them, can you?
It was,
it's crazy, right?
Even before that, even like a year or so before that, it was tough getting anything, and then of course when all this hit, I'm like, well, that's definitely
we're done. We're not doing it anymore. Anything. Nobody wants us in their homes, and we, having children ourselves, can't blame them.
And some people are still like that, Some people are still kind of having people come in and checking out their house. And I mean, I'm dying to do one, though. So, I mean, like, if anybody's out there and they want to have us come down.
We might have one, but we're not sure yet. Remember I told you about the case that shall remain nameless until
we can't put any names out there.
Not yet, but it's a case that I'm checking out to make sure it's safe for me and Brett, because I don't want Brett to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. And I don't want to levitate off a bed and vomit pea soup and be possessed. So we'll see how that one goes.
It just might do that.
That's why I don't know if we're going to do it yet. So.
Yeah. But levitating would be fun.
Yeah, you try that and I'll perform the exorcism if you like. That works.
What was that movie?
Which one?
Lost Boys, when he's sleeping and he's.
Oh yeah, Michael when he's sleeping in his bed.
He wakes up, he's up the ceiling. That's some cool stuff right there.
But okay, so what would you like to?
So
talk
I guess
about?
today we're going to talk about some of the myths and urban legends that are out there.
Some cool
Tom
stuff.
came up with like 4 of them that we'll bring up, talk about.
A couple topics.
He knows a little more about this stuff. Some of the stuff is local.
Yep.
That we've been trying for years to get to, but just
the distance is far, and then
it's tough sometimes.
Some of the places we could go to after night, they don't want you there, so we got to go. It's like, hey, you guys got to leave. You're here after night. That's a no-no. So that's why some of the places, we abide by all laws, and we don't want to make anybody angry. Hey, we can't do it.
Yeah,
that's the law.
I mean, one of the places we're going to talk about is outside, and honestly, I've still like it's
a cool
creepy
place
when it's at night, but you're outside, you're hearing all kinds of noises, animal noises, so you don't. To me, you just never know what you're hearing.
Exactly.
And unless
at
you have
night,
like a.
I've been there during the day, and honestly, I didn't feel much where I went. I mean, like you said, at night I probably would have been all creeped out.
Yeah.
But during the day, where we're going to talk about, I'm not going to give it away because that's your job when you want me to give it away. But there's a interesting lore attached to it. So yeah absolutely. So take it away, man.
You want me to take it away? Okay.
Take it away.
This is Tom's list he gave me. So I'm going to read them from 1 to 4. Okay. We're just going to go in order.
Yeah, that works.
And so the first one he wanted me to bring up was Slender Man. Now, I know a little bit about Slender Man.
Tell me what you know.
I think it was, I don't know a whole lot. I just know.
Know what you know.
It was, I'm trying to think. There was a number of years ago where they actually started doing the movie. I think it was up in Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about it. We took a ride out, me and my daughter, and the trailers were all set up. Everything was all set up.
Have
I even
you
saw
seen
the guy. Even saw the guy dressed as Slender Man.
Yeah.
At
cool,
the food
right?
at the food trailer.
Oh my God,
dude! This guy was like a
nightmares
stick.
for a week,
just
right?
Total just stick. I mean, you call
I know.
Slender Man. He was slender.
I know. I thought I was skinny.
Yeah, but I mean,
you beat me.
I did know a whole lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
I did a little bit of research.
Right.
But Tom is my go-to guy. So
when it comes to all that weird stuff.
if I ever have a question, I can always ask Tom, and he usually knows
Sometimes,
some of
yeah.
the stuff. I mean, it's
Sometimes.
not, he's not an expert in a
No,
lot of
I'm
the
not.
stuff.
I just know a few things.
So, for the people who don't know about Slender Man, what would you tell them? I mean, like,
What would I tell 'em about
Is it
it?
a legend? Is it a myth? Is it
Slender
real?
Man was created, it was a contest a long time ago, and it was a Photoshop contest they had, like, online, make this really creepy thing. So this one kid made this thing called Slender Man, and he made up, what Slender Man looks like, everybody does. He's the guy in the black suit with the no face, the long arms, and skinny legs. Well, after this kid created that, and he won the contest, like the Photoshop contest, like, make a scary photo, this kid, he won it hands down. Then Slender Man took off. Then Creepypasta came along, which everybody knows. Creepypasta is an internet-based horror stories where you can look at them and go online and read. They're really good stories. They're pretty talented writers on Creepypasta. Some of the stuff's really scary. That's where Slender Man really took off, which was Creepypasta, because then they started writing fiction about Slender Man.
Yeah.
And then it became really popular. And then I wanted to talk about something that happened, which was very unfortunate.
Well, how far back does the Slender Man go? I mean, does it
Years.
like years? Like you're talking about like a decade? Longer
No,
than that?
probably, I'd say it's 2021, so Slender Man was back in, God, at least a good 6 to 7 years, I think.
So it's somewhat new. So
Yeah.
I personally thought it was older than that.
You know what?
I mean,
You could be right, because I don't know the exact date, because I heard about Slender Man not too long ago, but a couple years back, and I just, this dude in his suit, whatever,
Yeah.
But until that thing happened we're going to talk about, then it really jumped out at me. Then it connects to some other paranormal happenings. But, about those girls, basically my notes, what was really important was there was these two kids, I think they were like 9 and 10, and look at my notes. It took place on May 31st, 2014, and it took place in Wisconsin. There was these two girls. They were really into Slender Man. One of them was actually schizophrenic, so she wasn't well. The other girl, she probably should have been schizophrenic, because, well, what they did to their poor friend is they were so into Slender Man that they were the proxies of Slender Man, which is they did his bidding.
Yeah.
So they took their best friend. They took her out to the Nicholas State Woods, right? And unfortunately, they stabbed this poor girl like 21 times. She lived, thank God. She crawled to the side of the road. But they are receiving messages that, okay, we have to kill for Slender Man. And that's why this Slender Man is kind of dangerous, because it all boils down to this with Slender Man. It's like, and it kind of goes into a tulpa, which we talked about in one of our shows, remember?
I think so.
Yeah, remember I told you about how, when you think of something, what is thought? Thought is energy, right?
Yeah, I do remember you.
Right.
We did do something like that.
We did. So thought is energy. And what Einstein says, he was a great, great, great man, Einstein. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only move from one place to the other.
Right.
So if everybody thinks about Slender Man, they think about Slender Man, they think about Slender Man. You have all this energy out there thinking about Slender Man.
Yeah.
Well, all that energy can become sentient in a sense, where you're making, we talked about before, a tulpa, which is you make a ghost through pure thought, which was transferred from energy.
Right, and not that I'm changing the subject, because I'm not,
right.
but I think we also covered that same.
Yeah.
Like you said, because I think when we were talking about it, I think either you or I mentioned it, that teenage girls with their hormone levels, that they can actually
The energy.
create something with their
Poltergeist
energy.
activities,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, so I think it's probably something similar.
It's
to what
really
I'm
similar
thinking.
to that, but instead of their hormonal change, it's everybody put so much negative energy in Slender Man, and these poor girls, it's like they tried to kill their best friend, and
Yeah.
the scary part, one of them's out of jail now. They let her loose.
Huh.
God help us.
Yeah.
And she's running around, and I'm assuming she's probably still the same way. I mean, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with somebody, that stabbed somebody 21 times saying, "No, I'm okay now." It's like, are you really?
Yeah.
Are you really
I mean,
okay?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, you see a lot of that stuff in the movies, but I'm sure
You
there's
really?
people still out there that are crazy like that.
It's creepypasta, man. Check out creepypasta. You want to see scary
Creepypasta.
stuff.
It sounds familiar, but I just
Creepypasta.
can't. No, I just don't know where the heck I heard
They
that
have this
from.
thing called Smiley Dog on creepypasta. If you look at the Smiley Dog,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna die.
Well, that
You're gonna
reminds me,
die.
because there was something like that I heard years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like probably 20 plus years ago,
Right.
about Bloody Mary. I think it was Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
Like, if you
3
go in
times
and
in
say
the-
it 3 times in the mirror, she
Have you ever
scares
done
you
it?
to death in the mirror, or something like that.
Have you ever done it?
No,
Are you
I'm not
scared?
taking any chances. No way. I'm
Okay, you know
not
what?
taking any chances doing that.
I think we should get it. I think we should get a mirror right now and try it. No, I'm
No,
playing.
that's like even
You
using like
scared?
the Ouija board. I'm not gonna.
Ah,
I don't trust it. It's like
you
some stuff
listened well.
I'm skeptic on some stuff. As much as I'm into the
You're
paranormal.
skeptical, but you won't play.
I-
You won't do the mirror thing. Huh?
No, I'm not.
I
No
know,
way.
look,
I'm
no.
not ready to die yet, Tom. I'm not ready to die. I'm not gonna name my age. People
Bloody
who
Mary.
know me.
Bloody me.
Little fly running through here.
It knows.
Maybe it's a ghost fly.
It is. It's the Bloody Mary fly.
It's the Bloody
It's
Mary.
the Bloody Mary fly.
All right. So
Maybe
let's-
next time we'll get part to do it, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Look, it's flying around you again.
Is the fly still on me? Oh God, we're off to a
It
great
knows
start.
you.
So okay, let's get back on
Sorry.
topic here
Yes.
real quick.
Okay.
So, Slender Man, we pretty much covered.
Pretty much, yeah.
story about it.
Basically, yeah.
I'm going to say Slender Man in my. I'm gonna give it like a 1 to 5, kind of maybe creep factor. I think.
How creepy you think Slender Man is? Because I'll tell you one thing. Because here's one thing that's very important before you say it. Once you know about Slender Man, he knows about you. You said his name.
My creep factor hasn't changed with that, Tom, at all.
Let me know
It's
how you
not-
let me know how you sleep tonight. It's okay.
I'll
Don't be
let
calling
you
me
know.
when you get
I'm probably gonna
scared.
sleep like a baby tonight.
We'll see.
So I'm gonna give it. You know what? I'm gonna give it because I'm somewhat of a skeptic. I'm
Okay.
gonna say like maybe a 2.5. I'm gonna give it like right in the middle
Wow.
because it's one of
That's
those
how you're
things
gonna give
where
Slender-
you know.
Have you seen
it's-
the movie
it's-
at least? Have you seen the movie?
I haven't seen the movie, but the movie doesn't mean it's real.
I'm not
Just
saying
like-
it's real.
just like the,
I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's real in a sense where I'm saying it's real in a sense where people put so much energy towards it that you're actually having paranormal events surrounding Slender Man because
Yeah.
stuff's happening. But see, if you look deep into it, Slender Man is like a virus because when you start getting into him, no, really, people psychologically, kids have had problems with Slender Man. When you start getting into him, it's like a virus, and it gets
Yeah.
in here. And then you start thinking about him, you have nightmares about him. And then before you know it,
But that's
it's
when
creepy.
I think that's when it
psychological.
starts. Yeah,
It's
I
very
was gonna say, that's why
psychological.
Maybe,
It gets in
maybe
there.
some people are going crazy.
Yeah,
because they're
it's like
just-
a worm in the apple. That's why when you look at this stuff, they tell people, like, if you're sensitive to these kinds of things, like you have
Yeah.
obsessive thoughts and compulsive disorders, you probably shouldn't be reading up on him because it gets in there,
Yeah,
which is kind of neat. Yeah.
it's kind of
kinda
neat. Yeah, not for me.
You're
I,
scared.
I am scared,
You are
Tom. I am
scared.
very scared of that stuff. I'm more scared of that than going into a house with.
I know, I don't understand that.
poltergeist activity or something.
Really? But
just,
that-
'cause, yeah.
Slender Man does
Because
it.
poltergeists or regular ghosts, most of the time, most of the time, it's not going to do anything to you.
No, but this
You
stuff,
know, but
drives
this-
you like,
Yeah, if you start thinking about it enough, you're going to go drive yourself crazy.
yeah.
It's just like when you think about bills.
I-
It drives you crazy after a while.
I
It's
think
like goes
insanity.
insane.
I agree with you. Do you know what scares me more than ghosts? Insanity. Do you know why? Because you can't control.
Yeah, once it gets in
You're
here,
done.
it's
You're done.
all-
It's like
you're
you
all
can't
over.
control that. You're in a
You're-
world of hurt at that point.
You're in the nut house after that.
Yeah, and
And
that's
Tom's
no.
going to be there at some point eventually if he keeps
I
thinking
can't
this
wait for
stuff
those
is real.
padded rooms. It's going to be awesome. Can I have my Jello now?
Oh God, Tom. Okay, let's go. All right, so what is this Conjuring
Ring
Philip?
Philip.
I don't think I've ever heard of it before.
Okay, Conjuring Philip. Now, check my notes. This took place 1972 in Toronto, Canada. This is interesting for you. Same
Okay.
thing. They made a ghost. They all worked really hard at it. They gave the ghost a name.
Wait. You said they made a ghost.
They made a sentient ghost. Yes, they made a ghost.
How do you make a ghost?
I'll tell you how they made it. So these were scientists, not like, a bunch of new age,
Yeah.
burning sage and doing whatever.
Right.
These guys were like hard-nosed scientists, and this book was made in like 1972, and it was a real science. It was one of the greatest paranormal cases because it was backed by data and hard science. So what they did was they gave the ghost a name. They gave the ghost when it died. They gave the ghost a family, a history. They gave it a personality traits, everything. Then they all concentrated on it for a very, very long time, and they actually did something else too. I think they brought in a Ouija board as well. So they gave this thing form, but they
Yeah.
kept working on it, and they wrote a really good book about Conjuring Philip, and it's called the Tulpa. Same thing as Slender Man. They made a ghost from pure thought because pure thought is energy, and you can't destroy it. So it can move from place to place.
Yeah.
So the Conjuring Philip kind of goes along with Slender Man. It's all based on energy is real, energy exists. Einstein said it, and that guy wasn't a crackpot. He was a
Right.
hard-nosed scientist. So energy can do a lot. I mean, you know that. When we go ghost hunting, EMF meters.
Right, but we're not conjuring anything. We're looking for something that's apparently
Exactly.
already there.
But you can make things.
I'd never heard that. Maybe, maybe because, like we said earlier, it's been slow. Maybe we should just make up our own ghost, Tom.
You good luck with that, 'cause I'm not playing with that stuff. I don't want to make.
Oh,
I already
it's
have enough
different
problems
now.
in my life.
See, people, it's different for Tom.
I already have my. I do not want to make up my own ghost. It'd probably be real vengeful in me. Just forget about it. I'm
Yeah, maybe
okay
you
with it.
smack you around a little bit.
Yeah, well, okay. You do Bloody Mary, and I'll make a ghost.
All right,
so.
but we'll do this the opposite way. You make the ghost first.
Okay.
If you make a ghost appear, then I am definitely not going to go to a mirror.
That sounds
and say,
wicked unfair on my part. It seems like you're getting all the fun, and I'm
Because
getting
if
all
you
the misery.
can conjure up a ghost,
I don't
then
want to
Bloody
conjure up a
Mary is
ghost.
going to
I'm
be
not
right
going
there
to do
waiting
it.
for me.
I live vicariously through you. How's that?
All right. So is there anything like of this Philip ghost? Like, is it still around? Is
No,
it?
they actually, what they did was they made it, and then in a sense they destroyed it because they took all that energy away from what they were making, and it just flatlined.
When they
They didn't destroy it, but they just basically, instead of giving it so much attention and energy and doing what they were doing with all these telekinesis, psychokinesis, all this, they were doing so many things, dude. I mean, they threw the kitchen sink at it.
Yeah.
And then they stopped. But it was hard to stop the experiment because people were being haunted by this ghost in a negative manner. Because in a sense, it didn't want to be like uncreated or ignored. Yeah. So it was kind of a dangerous experiment. They sell the book online, Conjuring Philip. People out there want to read about this. It's called Conjuring Philip, and you can. It was done in '72, and it was a really big experiment in the paranormal field. Yeah, really interesting stuff.
It's
Real book.
just something I never knew about. There's a lot of stuff.
There's stuff I don't know
people
about
look at
either,
it
dude.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know
being
everything.
a
I know a few.
paranormal investigator, people think, oh, you know everything about
No,
it.
we don't. Not at all.
Like for me, Tom, I like going to a house or to a building and just looking for a ghost. That's my interest. Everything else, like the stuff that we're talking about today,
Cryptozoology.
it's interesting, but it's not my
Forte.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
So
See, you're into the house things, and so am I, but I like the speculative paranormal. I like the cryptozoology, UFOs, Conjuring Philip, and tulpas, and
Tom,
yeah.
UFOs. That's, I think, the episode we were talking about.
Yeah, UFOs.
So people are just wondering, when we came here today, we were like, okay, we're going to do 3 episodes. We're going to do one A, B, and then we was like, about a month or so ago, I had 2 paranormal type. We had 2 paranormal type episodes we were going to do.
Yeah, that's right.
And
It
for the
was
longest time,
it was
like
UFOs.
a week ago, so I think it was UFOs. So maybe
Yeah,
we'll have
it
to do
was.
something on
it was-
UFOs.
I mean, I guess we won't talk about it now. We'll save it for.
Right, we'll save that for another
Okay,
episode.
yeah, forget it.
but,
Let's not do it.
But yeah, I knew it was going to take one thing, one word for my
UFOs.
brain to click.
So that's
Maybe
okay.
it was Slender Man. Maybe he's here talking to me, or maybe it was that Conjuring Ghost guy. He's talking to me.
Philip, he's gonna get you tonight when
Yeah,
you look
maybe.
in the mirror.
No,
So is Bloody
bring them
Mary.
both at me, baby. I'm telling you.
You're gonna
So
get
creep factor, a big old fat 1 for me.
Okay. How the next one? Let's
I
You're gonna like the
want
next
to know
one.
how you conjure up. That just blows
fine.
my
I'll
mind
try
a
it
little
for
bit.
you. Okay, the next one.
So Hockomock Swamp, which I'm familiar with a little bit. I've never been there, but I've heard a lot of stories.
That place has an awesome history. Native American, UFOs, Bigfoot, the Puckwedgies.
Yeah.
Puckwedgies. These little people.
Puck.
Puck wedgies.
Yeah. I'm just making sure people hear you say puck and not like butt wedgies. There's 2 different things,
Puck,
So-
as in like Puck is a Midsummer's Night Dream by,
Right.
It's Puck wedgies. Basically, Hockomock Swamp is the Bridgewater Triangle or the Freetown State Forest,
Right.
which is about 40 minutes from here or so. But there's this place called Arsenaut Ledge. Supposedly, now I've been there during the day, and I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful place. There was a cool quarry with a ledge, and then supposedly if you go towards the ledge, the Native American spirits called Puckwedgies lure people to the edge, and they make you jump.
Yeah.
You have these really sad thoughts, and I can't take life anymore. And you throw yourself over the cliff and you kill yourself. That's
Now, how deep is the cliff? Do you know? Do you remember?
the drop is probably, let me think, maybe 30, 40, 50 feet or something into the
Yeah,
quarry.
I mean, that could...
Especially the
hurt.
rocks in the quarry. There's some junk down there,
Yeah.
too. God knows what's at the bottom of the quarry. We're talking like probably broken cars or something. But
Yeah.
But supposedly, you go to the edge, you start to feel dizzy, you have this overpowering sense of like sadness, and then you jump and you kill yourself, supposedly at Arsenaut Ledge. And there's reports of Bigfoot been sighted there, UFOs, will-o-wisps, aliens. It's, the Bridgewater Triangle is a very paranormal hot spot, actually. Believe it or not, there's quite a bit. If you look on computers and the internet, you'll find a whole bunch of crazy stories about Bridgewater Triangle.
Did you ever find the origin of it though? Like how it started? I mean, just someone
Well, of course, it always goes back to the Native Americans, cursing the land and all. You know how
Yeah,
every good
oh,
horror
yeah.
story starts,
Right.
right? It's Native Americans.
Right.
Supposedly, the Native Americans didn't curse it, but they said in their time, which, and I don't know the specific name of the tribe, so I didn't
Yeah.
go that far back, but supposedly the Native Americans said it was like always a haunted place. They'd see weird lights in the sky. They would see the brown man, which is Bigfoot, and they'd see like aliens, and basically they'd see thunderbirds, which is a big thing. Native American thunderbirds,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's like really weird. I mean, I've been there during the day. I didn't feel anything because it wasn't night.
Right. I mean, that's a creep. The nighttime is the creep
It
factor.
is
You
during
know
the
what I
day.
mean?
It's like it was actually kind of pretty, actually.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, but during the day, But I couldn't stay there at night because you can go at night legally, but they'll lock up. So
Yeah.
you have to park your car like 2 miles down the road and walk in. And trust me, dude, it is a walk.
It's it's kind of like
Last
when
time we
to
went out,
Blood-
remember?
Well, we went to Blood
Blood
Forest.
Forest.
Yeah, we did it. We went to. We didn't have an episode for it. We did like a little behind the scenes thing with my.
No, we
phone.
really got
Went
wet
on-
though because it was
we-
flooded. Remember?
Yeah, we took
Good
a long
time.
walk, went down the wrong, which we thought was a trail. It wasn't a trail. It was
It
just
was awful.
cut brush.
It was
We f-
awful.
We finally found the trail, and we're walking it, and we knew some of the stories behind it. And
I didn't
like
feel
you said,
nothing, did you?
I didn't feel anything either. We took the cameras out, took the
I
meters
felt
out.
wet. I mean, my
It's-
shoes were mud and wet, and we were drenched, and
Yeah,
I
it
wanted
was,
to go home. But
we
I mean, I
walked
wasn't.
a lot of miles. We walked a lot of miles that day,
And carrying the
but-
camera equipment was fun too.
yeah.
Thanks
yeah,
for
I
letting
know.
me carry
and
that. I
it
appreciate
was-
it.
But again, in the daytime, you go to the creepiest place. You don't feel nothing,
Nope.
And
But
then,
that night, it's a totally different environment, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, well,
whoa.
it comes because first off, you can't see anything. So, of course, that's going to add
The unknown.
to half
The unknown.
creep factor.
Otherwise, than that, it's
So-
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's sunny, big deal, whatever.
Right. We got to go there. We have to go to Hockomock Swamp.
We will
Not-
go there. I mean, that's
it-
going to be. We're definitely going to go. When we go, we'll have to park the car. Unfortunately, we're in a bit of a walk, and I would definitely say we're deep because wow.
Yeah, and we do
man,
have.
your
We
life.
do have. I know someone that'll probably join us. She lives out there.
Oh yeah.
Who's
this?
Jocelyn, which you haven't met her, and I'm sure she's going to watch this episode. She was
Oh,
the
that's
one that
right.
did the first podcast.
I heard the first podcast. So it
And
was very interesting.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, we talked about if you haven't seen it yet, you got to watch it. You got to watch some of our other stuff if you're new to this.
Yeah, please
but
watch
we-
our shows too, because we had a lot of fun behind the scenes, goofy stuff we did, which
Yeah,
is
we
not
did.
serious.
There was some bloopers and all, but
It was all
yeah,
you.
Jocelyn came
No.
on. I've known her for a number of years. She came on to the podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
then COVID hit, so it was like
That stopped
it-
everything.
we did that. I think we did it in February
I think
of
so.
last year. I think it was, and we had planned to do more, but then again, this hit, and then of course couldn't do anything.
That's
so.
why I didn't see me for a
that's-
while, because we had to wait to be safe to hang out with each other, because it was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
but, and now it's
Now it's
getting
good.
better, and hopefully we can do more of these, and maybe bring people on and talk about all kinds of stuff. But
Well,
we're getting
yeah.
off topic a little bit.
Not a big
so,
deal. What's the next
is
thing?
there anything else about Hockomock Swamp that we didn't cover?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty standard. Basically, the Indians. I mean, they actually. I mean, I mean, the whole area of.
How big is it though, Tom? Do you know?
Oh man, it's
is
many,
it-
many, many, many acres. It's huge, dude.
Is it?
It's not even remotely small. It's like it's big. I mean,
Yeah.
the state forest is really big. I mean,
Yeah.
you could get lost in there. Like you could 911. I don't know where I'm at. Send a chopper in. I'm not getting out of here. No, I'm serious. It's
No, I'm not
it's
laughing.
really
I'm
big.
not, I'm laughing at
Hockomock
the-
Swamp's really big, and you got to be careful out there because you can get hurt out there in Hockomock Swamp. I've been out there a few times, and you can
Yeah.
get lost easily. You start going, let's explore over here. Before you know it, it's like, I don't know where I am right now. We have no compass. Where are we going?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah.
You have to be careful.
I mean,
there.
yeah.
You gotta be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have brought a compass when we went to Blood Forest too.
We were wicked lost. That was awful. I can't believe
That
it.
was horrible. I remember some of the trails
was-
we went on too. Not to go off topic. We're here to have a good time, so
Yeah,
we
mud
can go off
pits.
topic.
It
But
was
yeah,
awful.
what's funny is, I remember some of the trails we went on.
You call them
We
trails?
must have walked like,
Miles.
like on one trail it'd be probably like I would say half a mile. All of a sudden, come to a dead end. We have to track
Got
it
all the way back. Remember that
So-
one trail we went on? There was like a lake in between the trail. It flooded. Remember, we couldn't cross it. Like, we had to go back.
I think you were crazy enough to try to walk around.
I
it.
tried, but I was like, that's not happening. I'm too
yeah,
wet
I
for that.
wasn't in the mood to be wet for the rest of the day and not find the car and
And then the
have a little
cameras.
Blair
Remember
Witch
how the cameras
episode,
where we
you
took
know?
turns holding the cameras? Like, all right, you, next mile is you. Your turn.
yeah.
It was awful.
I know. So Hockomock Swamp for me, I would say that gives me a good 4 out of 5.
I think you'd like it. I think you'd enjoy it.
Not
you'd
again,
enjoy it.
creep factor wise, not necessarily because it's like in the daytime, you're not going to feel.
Yeah, there's so much
but,
history behind Hockomock.
I think more of the creep factor goes around all the stuff, all the claims.
Lots of good stuff.
You know what I mean?
Aliens,
So,
Bigfoot, Thunderbirds.
I would take some of this stuff more seriously than Conjuring Philip.
Yeah.
But, like when it comes
Well,
to the
check it out.
UFOs, I love the UFOs.
There's
stuff.
a lot of creepy stuff.
And we will talk about that on another episode. On,
Absolutely.
All that stuff because there's some good. I shouldn't say good stories, but
you know what? I'll look more into it and get you some good stuff on it. How's that?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'll fire up some more
Sure.
information for you. I promise.
All right. Okay. So the last one we got.
Oh, this is a good one.
This one that I'd like to know.
This is kind of urban legend. So.
It's what what is
Polybus.
it? Polybus.
Yes.
Polybus. No, Polybus.
Yes, Polybus.
Yeah. I don't know it. I'm sorry, people. I'd never heard about it. He was talking about it was like some sort of like a video game thing, right?
It is a killer video game.
Now, the only thing I know.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get this out there because I don't want you to think that I'm not that knowledgeable about certain things.
I didn't say anything.
But there is that movie that Dean Snyder did. I thought it was about a video game where this kid would fall asleep. He need to go out and kill people because of this video game he would play.
Oh, are you talking about Brain Scan?
Is it Brain Scan?
Yeah, Brain Scan with Edward Furlong. Yeah, Edward Furlong was in it.
Yeah, because the kid, I remember he would fall asleep playing the game,
and then
Dean
murder
Snyder
people.
Would be in this weird
outfit.
Yeah.
Brain Scan. Brain Scan.
Yeah, he would tell this kid to go kill people.
Yeah,
right?
and then he'd go do it and get extra points and stuff. Yeah, Brain Scan.
Yeah, but that's the one I know. I'm not familiar with.
That was an awesome movie, man. Rip was the guy's name. The bad guy was Rip.
See, I don't remember that. I mean, I haven't seen it in 20 years, but I still remember that movie somewhat.
Great soundtrack.
But I'm guessing this is not even
this is
compared
not,
to that?
No, this was not at all. This is something that's, okay. Could have been true, could have not been true. Let's let the
viewers...
Creep
me out, Tom. Creep me out.
Let's let the viewers decide. Okay, Polybus. Game was made in 1981, and it took place in Portland, Oregon. Basically, there was this game called Polybus. It was really similar to the game Tempest. And everyone knows what Tempest is, right? By Atari. Remember Tempest for Atari? Remember?
I have Atari. I didn't have that game, though.
Well, Tempest was it was kind of like a spider web thing right here, and the ship was in the middle, and you'd shoot things and blow up the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
Well, this video game, Polybus, supposedly was in an arcade. And supposedly it was a government-made experiment arcade game that was about fear, okay? So the government people, supposedly there was this arcade in Portland where the MIBs would come, the Men in Black, I kid you not. They'd come in, they'd have this video game, they'd put it into place, they took off the cover, and it said Polybus, and then they would leave. And the owner of the arcade says, okay, this is a new game it's a new cabinet game from my place of employment. The kids would play it. When the kids played the game, they experienced nausea, vomiting, seizures, night terrors. And this really happened. So basically, everybody that played this game went basically crazy or they died. So after a while, kids were playing it, they were getting sick, they were passing out, blah, 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 blah. And then, mysteriously, the MIB people would come and they'd take the game away and move it somewhere else. And then it would start all over again with Polybus. Supposedly, it was a government project they were doing with a video game on fear and how it, what it would do to people. And it was a government video game. It was an experiment. I mean, when you think about the government, it's probably not too far-fetched, right?
Right, yeah.
And hey, I know you think that way because we had private conversations in the car about...
Yeah, and that's one thing, people, that we don't talk about on the show ever is anything to do with politics, government.
Nope.
We do not bring that to the show.
We don't leave it alone.
Get that right off the bat.
Yeah, that's just all personal for us. But supposedly
Right.
the government made this. It was a government experiment about fear and how it affects people and what they could do with this on people's minds.
Yeah.
And is it true? It could be true. It could be a total urban legend or a myth, but it had some credence to it and it was widely talked about in the video game community. Because, there's like a book I was reading that was really cool. This book just totally freaked me out, dude. I was getting paranoid reading this book called Rabbits.
So wait, say that again. You were what?
I'm reading a book called Rabbits.
Oh, you're reading a book called Rabbits.
Yes, it's about interdimensional portals and radiance.
What's that got to do with rabbits, though?
Well, the video game is called Rabbits.
Oh, the video game is called
And
Rabbits.
it's actually, like us, this is a podcast by this guy. He makes this podcast, and it's kind of like this big conspiracy theory. It's a really creepy book. And anybody that's into creepy, mind-bending, alternate reality...
Like a Matrix kind of thing.
Yeah, but scarier, because in the book, people are dying in this book. And then, so I'm reading the book, right? And then, in a weird way, I'm, driving up the hill. And my friend's like, hey, Tom, look, there's a rabbit. I was like... you know what the book does? It kind of gets in there a little bit. When
Oh,
you
yeah.
read it, you start to like see the book is about synchronicity, which you start to see connections to numbers and places and everything. It's kind of falling down the rabbit hole, and you see all these things going on, and you read this book, and you're like, this is kind of
Yeah.
freaking me out a little, man. This is kind of
Yeah.
tripping me out, Rabbits.
Rabbits. That's a book I probably won't read because I'm not a reader.
Yes,
I
I
don't
know
like
you're not a
reading
reader,
books.
Brett. I know.
I've
you're
read
not
one book in my life.
If it was a movie, you'd probably watch it, right?
If it was a movie, I would
Okay,
most
cool.
definitely watch
Thank
it.
God for small
I
miracles.
I shouldn't say I hate books. I've just never really been a reader. Even when I was in
How can you
middle
not love to
school,
read?
high school, to do a book report, I wouldn't even read the book. I would look at the back of the book, read what the book is about, and then I would just ad lib like stuff. Try to get at least a page
Nice.
out of it, and of course I would fail it. But
And the
I
thing-
hated
yeah,
reading. So
And the
it's
thing, what was very scary in the book is like in the book, like the book goes like in iterations, like it goes like in sections of like the game is played like level 1, level 2.
Yeah.
And when a new level starts, it says, and this is kind of creeping me out. It says the door is open. Yeah, and it just kind of sets that like.
I would have to see it.
It's a cool,
It's-
what? It's a cool book, and if they ever made it a movie, it would probably scar people mentally for life. Rabbits. I mean, I've never heard of this guy. I picked up the book. I'm like, that's a funky looking weird. It's like this psychedelic rabbit, and then I started reading the cover. I'm like, I'm not into that, but I'm glad I bought it.
Yeah.
Anybody out there you want
And
to read a really cool book, read Rabbits.
And you weren't doing drugs when you're reading this. Just
No,
you
no,
weren't on
no.
drugs or anything.
No, what time
So-
is it? No, not at all. No, I'm playing people. I'm playing, right?
Yeah, well, we're too old for that
Take
sort of
it
thing
easy.
anyway.
I'm 45. He's much older than I am.
Much older. Get out of here.
Where's your
I'm
cane?
trying to make
Where's
myself.
your cane?
I left it at home. Sorry.
Me too. Mine's in the car.
I have a
been-
reason I have a cane because I injured my back a long time ago.
Me
But we're not
too.
going to go there.
Okay.
We're not going
He's
to go
cr-
there.
He's crying. He's crying.
All right. So, creep factor. Is that all that you have for this?
Yeah,
all of
pretty
this
much. Pretty much.
Garbage that you're talking about?
Oh, I was going to call it that? Well, okay, what do you have to talk about?
Huh?
Exactly. Okay.
No,
on
I
to
didn't
the-
hear what you said. I didn't hear what you said. All right.
Yeah,
So,
now he's forgetting things.
Polybus. I would say, I don't know. I have to do a little more research on it.
You know what you can
If-
do? You want to do research? I'm telling you what to do. Go online, go on YouTube, and look up the Polybus game, okay? And you can actually see parts of the game being played. And if you slow the game down per frame, like 1 frame, 2 frame, you can slow the game down. And when you see the game, it has subliminal messages in the game. I'm not kidding. It says like obey.
Really?
No, look on. As I
All right,
tried.
you heard them, people. Do that. That is your assignment.
Okay, here's what you do.
Paranormal friends. What do you
Exactly.
wanna
This is everybody's homework. I want everybody to go online, go on Facebook, okay? Look up Polybus, and you'll see a video. And what it does, the video will slow the video game down to the point where it's like very, very slow. And then you see the subliminal messaging. It's pretty creepy.
call it? Wait a minute, though. So are you telling people to slow it down? Or
No.
in the movie it slows
No,
down?
no. It does it for you, which is neat.
But how do you know that's not part of the movie? Like, they didn't do it on purpose?
Well, no,
They put
because-
it in there, edited it in there to make it look
Well, no,
like...
because they actually slow the pixels down, and then it's. I did it myself when I watched it, and it was really to the point when I watched it, I actually didn't want to watch it because I started to get sick to my stomach. Like, it actually, I don't know if I'm photosensitive or anything, but I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm feeling nauseous. I don't even want to go any further.
Keep talking.
It's like I didn't want to go any further into this, really, because it was
Yeah.
kind of freaking me out because, like, a lot of stuff, like, people are very photosensitive to, like, flashing and seizures and stuff like that. Like, am I one of those guys?
Yeah.
But check it out, people. Just, take a peek at it.
I'll try to do the same myself. Everybody's. I want everybody's opinion. I want people to make comments. I want to know what people's opinions are on something.
Check it out. Like, you can check it out, and I'm not gonna check it again because I already did it. So
You
it's
already
like
did it.
I just don't want to do it again because it made me feel funky. I don't want to do
Yeah.
it again. Yeah, no, not
It-
really. I'm already
uh,
crazy enough. I don't.
Yeah. So what? Okay. So those are the 4 things we were kind of talking about. What else is like that you can think of real quick that like maybe we haven't talked about before, like maybe
real
on a
quick.
previous episode, or we
talked about
the
a
blood
lot.
forest. We did actually the blood forest. We never actually had on YouTube. We did that on I think it was like FaceTime or YouTube. No, it was like yeah, I think it was a behind the scenes thing that we did. We just stopped in the middle of the trail or whatever, talked about
Yeah.
blood forest and
I mean,
the myths about
the
it
only
and
thing I
stuff.
can,
But
I mean, the only I don't know. We talked about. I mean, the only thing. I mean,
oh,
what?
oh no, go ahead.
I mean, the only thing I really did, I guess, was I kind of met somebody short of famous that was involved with the Amityville murder. Remember Amityville? You remember Amityville
Yeah,
horror?
yeah, but
Come on, you must know about that.
yeah, I know about
Anyway.
Amityville.
Okay. Well, again, I'm not going to say names, but when I used to work in a hotel, I was a server and I was a bus person and I worked in the bar. And the person I worked for was Blank DeFeo. I'm not going to say his first name because I don't want to draw attention to him.
Yeah.
His last name was DeFeo. And as you know, the DeFeos lived in Amityville, and Ronnie DeFeo murdered everybody in the house with a Winchester rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to my boss. I'm like, Blank DeFeo. And he's like, yeah, that was my cousin. And I was like, oh, okay. Can I ask you? He's like, we can only talk about this once. He goes, make it good. Because he didn't like talking about it because this is a personal tragedy of his family.
Yeah.
And I said, honestly, do you think Ronnie DeFeo was either schizophrenic or was he possessed?
But wait a minute, you just said Ryan.
No, no.
Was that the blank earlier?
No,
and
no,
now
no,
you just said
no,
his
no.
name,
Ronnie
or-
was the person that killed everybody.
But, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
I
the
thought
blank.
you were. I thought
No. Ronnie he's killed everybody with the Winchester rifle. And I said, do you think Ronnie was possessed? Or do you think he was just, nuts and decided to whack everybody when they slept? He's like, no. He's like, he was my cousin, and there was something wrong with Ronnie. He changed. His
Yeah.
whole demeanor changed. He was hearing voices. And the really interesting about this case was this. I'm going to tell you one thing right now. When you fire a Winchester rifle, you fired a rifle in this place, you'd hear it. I mean, it's an old rifle.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a .22 slug. So he went from room to room and he shot like 4 or 5 people. Bang, bang, bang. You know the weirdest thing about this whole case?
What's that?
Why didn't anybody wake up?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Would
I mean, but how do you know nobody woke up? I mean,
Nobody woke
nobody
up.
was there to see if anybody had woken up. I mean, that could all be.
No, they reported that they were in the way they were. They all slept on their stomachs that night.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody moved out of their bed. Now this is why nobody woke up. I'll tell you why.
They were all poisoned.
No, well, they weren't poisoned. They think there was something paranormal involved with Amityville that kept them to sleep. They did toxicology. Nobody was poisoned. Everybody was healthy,
Yeah.
minus the gunshots in their head and their abdomens. The point is, he went from one room, he shot somebody. Really loud, bang. Okay, somebody's going to hear that. Now, these rooms weren't close together, Brett. We're not talking like here and here. We're talking like this room's across the hall, this
Yeah.
room's upstairs. So if somebody woke up, they would have gone out of their bed, hey, what the heck's going on out here? But they were sleeping on their stomachs, and nobody woke up during something like 13 to 14 Winchester rifle gunshots. They didn't make a sound. They just slept through it all.
Well,
It's impossible. It's impossible.
I thought I saw something.
That was a
on
really
that.
neat case.
Maybe I'm thinking about something different, but I thought there was something that it might have been not the actual movie. It might have been like a documentary.
Maybe.
Something about. Maybe I could be wrong, people. I don't know. Judge me all you want on this. I'm just thinking of what I saw
What's that?
in the movie, but it was like somehow I thought there was like a little in one of the rooms. There was like a like in the old farmhouses or whatever. There's like the little secret not a cupboard. It's like a little door on the wall where you open it.
Right.
It's like it goes all the way across the house. I thought I saw. And again, this could be a different show. I don't know.
Right. Well, I can
But
tell you.
but it sounds familiar because I remember somebody like shooting the family members
Yeah.
or whatever. But I thought when this guy would open up the door, you would see this.
That's an Amityville horror. See, what I'm talking about was Ronnie DeFeo, and then after that, the Lutzes moved in, and they experimented issues, and then
That's
they were
what it
driven
was.
out.
That's what it was. Okay.
You're
All
talking about the Lutzes, and you're right. When he opened the door, like, he saw his face, because there was a separate room in the house where he went to the bottom of it, and
Yeah.
supposedly that's like the heart of the house.
Okay. So
But no,
I knew I
you're
was
sort of right.
close. I knew it was
No,
something like that. It was
That
a
was the
while back.
Lutzes. This was before the Lutzes moved in. It was Ronnie DeFeo, and he heard voices, boom, murdered everybody in their sleep. Then the Lutzes moved in, and it was so haunted. They left and they never went back. I'm talking they left their wallets there, their clothes. They got in a van and they left. It was that bad.
Yeah.
Because Ed and Lorraine Warren, who was a pioneer in the paranormal field, investigated that. And wow. She said, and I quote, I don't ever want to be close to hell like that ever again.
Wow.
Hell.
Yeah.
And this is, Lorraine Warren, which is, God bless her soul, which is
Yeah.
a great pioneer in the paranormal field.
Yeah. I'd say even though it's not on the sheet,
Doesn't have to
that's
be.
a good creepy
creep.
factor. I would definitely that's definitely a 5. I mean, I would imagine going into that
Definitely.
house. I mean, I would
People
it
live
would-
there today. Oh yeah, people live in
Forget
that house.
man. I couldn't even live in a haunted house. Only
They live there
because-
today. They live there, and they said in the weirdest thing. You know what I find about paranormal hauntings? It's almost like it chooses you. It's like these people say, "Oh, we have no experiences. Nothing's ever happened here since we moved here." That's hard for me to believe, but either that or they're just so oblivious to it that
Yeah.
maybe they don't feed into it, so therefore nothing happens.
Well, I think a good example is
Really?
when we did that little house right down the road. I'm not going to name what street.
Oh,
We went there 3 times. It was that
Yeah,
little
yeah,
house
yeah.
Where we heard the little tapping of footsteps.
Yep.
Or it sounded like tapping shoes.
I remember that one. Yeah.
That woman left years ago.
Yep.
And I don't know how many years it's been since, but I haven't heard anything. I mean, granted, maybe this person, if there's still stuff going on, they haven't contacted me, or I haven't heard anybody
Right.
that has gone there. Maybe whatever was there followed that woman.
It's possible
where
because
she went to
something's
next,
something's
because-
attached to you and they follow you wherever you go. Unfortunately, which is that really stinks because you can't get away from it.
Right. I mean, there's what's that one in? Oh God, it's up near Fitchburg. It's that old Victorian house there. It's been on TV before.
I think I know what
Oh,
you're talking
God.
about. I'm not sure.
I know I should know this, but it's one of those houses that the people moved out, new owners moved in, and it's coming to me slowly. It's coming to me, but it was on TV, and I think it was actually on one of the paranormal shows. They went there, and they were having issues also. They're hearing screaming.
Really?
Well, the woman, I think like one of the episodes, she said that she was screaming, "Help me, help me." The husband couldn't do anything, and the husband was on the show crying,
Oh, wow,
because he
really?
was all emotional. He couldn't do anything that night. But, sometimes they stay, sometimes they go.
There was another case. I can't tell you a lot about it. I can tell you a little about it. They actually made it a movie. It was a popular movie. It's called The Entity. Ever heard of The Entity?
No.
This was the first case where, you're going to like this, they actually froze a ghost.
Froze a ghost. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Now we're back to the creep factor number 1. This is going to be, I can tell.
Well, yeah, no, it was a true story, and it was awful. This girl in Texas she was being accosted by an entity, like she was being hurt by this thing in a lot of violent ways.
Yeah.
And she was being touched by the ghost in an inappropriate manner as well. It was bad. She had bruises.
Really?
She had bite marks on her body. I mean, it was really bad. And this was a really big case because what they did was, to make a long story short, I mean, this thing was awful to her. So finally, they brought it to a gymnasium, and her house wasn't haunted. She was haunted. This thing was attacking her, so it followed her everywhere this poor woman went. They went to a gymnasium. I kid you not. I can't play some of the footage, but this thing followed her to the gymnasium, and she went to this protected area of the house where this like plexiglass shield kind of hit her from the ghost. But it's a ghost. It's going to go through it anyways.
Right.
But they had liquid nitrogen up on the rafters, and these liquid nitrogen came down like this, and then sprayed liquid nitrogen, which is like the coldest stuff on the planet. Liquid nitrogen,
Yeah,
it freezes anything. Well, they're freezing supposedly where the ghost was, and something was caught in the ice.
Where was this, Tom? Where
was in-
was this? No, even when was it also? 'Cause
This movie was made in 1970 something, 74.
is it based on a true story?
Yeah,
Or is-
yeah.
Really?
It was one of the most scariest paranormal stories. Was The Entity, which was based in Texas, and so apparently the electric nitrogen, it's 100 degrees below Celsius or whatever.
Yeah.
It caught something in the ice. There's this mass, and they're like, "Oh my God, look what we have!" And then it started to
Well, I'll tell you what. We know what to bring with us next time we go on a ghost hunt.
electric nitrogen.
That's
will
right.
freeze it.
That's what we're doing, baby.
But
We're-
you should see the creep factor. This was a 5 because it's all documented and it's true. And it was one
Yeah.
of the biggest cases.
I never heard of that. No, I'm gonna
The
definitely
Entity.
check that one out.
Look up online The Entity,
You're
and
probably going to remind me later.
I will.
So-
But it's what we being ghost hunters. This was a really it's a great case. But this poor woman was hurt in awful ways.
Yeah. So whatever happened?
It still followed her to this day. If she's still alive, apparently she's still suffering attacks, but they've lessened in severity.
Huh.
So now she's not being touched improperly, but she's
Oh.
still being smacked, even bitten.
Yeah.
They can't get rid of it. It's just it follows her everywhere she goes.
Wow.
And they have no
Yeah,
idea where it came from. It just started happening one day. That
Yeah.
was it. No reason at all.
That's one thing that
No reason.
When
I
we
don't
go
know.
to when we go to places,
Yep.
I always wonder if something like that's going to happen to me.
It's
Is something going to be attached to me
yes.
that
You
much
know what?
where it's going to I'm
It
going to end up
could,
bringing
right?
it home?
It can. I
I
mean, you
mean,
do
that's-
realize that can happen to us, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a
Okay.
risk we have to take
That
because
is.
we
That
enjoy
is.
what we do. Of course.
But I think about our loved ones too.
Yeah.
So.
But
yeah, I know. It's that's why when I go out to places or when we go ghost hunting, I was always very careful that night when I came home from us hunting because I was always a little more perceptive that night just to make sure nothing out of the ordinary wasn't happening in my home from a hunt.
yeah.
Just to make sure nothing's tagging along because I don't want nothing in my house.
I'll tell you, every time we came back from a investigation,
Right.
I always didn't have a hard time falling asleep, but I just kept, as I'm laying in bed, I'm just thinking, gee, I hope I
hope
didn't
nothing
bring it
happens.
with me. I hope I didn't bring it with me, just.
You're a little bit
some
keyed
people-
up, a little bit kind of hypersensitive, a little bit like, what's that?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I don't think I'm very sensitive in that part, so maybe
Yeah, but
if
something
they can
happens.
sense, I think they say they can sense certain
People that are
humans
more susceptible to that, right?
yeah.
Susceptible.
So maybe I'm not that susceptible to something like that.
Hey, that's a good
I
thing.
mean,
Trust me, because you don't want anything following you home, Chief.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause I've had
It-
things follow me home. I had a redneck ghost follow me home. That was
redneck.
redneck ghost,
A redneck ghost.
straight up redneck ghost.
Could you hear him saying "yeehaw" in the background, like very
He
excited,
loved
like,
country
"Yeehaw."
music. He loved it, and he kept playing it on.
Maybe it was Hank Williams Jr.
He kept playing on the television set
not
when I got
Junior,
home. It was the
regular Hank
creepiest
Williams,
thing.
maybe.
I'm serious.
Was he drinking was he tearing in his beer and all
I
that?
think so. You know, I found him in a hunter's cabin.
You what?
I was working, doing it on a construction site, right? And it was out in Oxford. And there was an old hunter's cabin besides us. I guess somebody owned this little hunter's lodge.
Yeah.
So I was on my break, and I'm like, I'm going to go to the hunter's cabin. So I kind of went in there. It was private property, but I still went in. I shouldn't have. And these old hunter's cabins from like 1945, and I kind of went in one, and they had all these old magazines, and like it was like 1945 was still in there.
Yeah.
So I was kind of rooting around, looking at stuff. Then I go home, and I'm watching TV. I'm hearing, the music channel, on Charter. I was hearing 80s night. 80s night. So I'm hearing the music, right? And I get up, and I go to the bathroom, and the TV gets changed by itself to the country station. I'm thinking, hello, is anybody here? No.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I go back. I'm like, maybe it was a glitch. Whatever. It happens all the time. I get it back to the 80s, hearing a little Guns N' Roses. I get up again. I want to go in my bedroom. I want to grab something. TV switches back to oldies but goodies country. I was like, and it kept happening.
You remember? I think
Remember I called you up and I was
vaguely
freaking out about
remember-
that?
I vaguely remember you saying something like that. I think it was a real long time ago. But
And then I turned the TV off. I shut it off right that night. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. It's like 10 o'clock. TV turned on by itself. Hence the redneck ghost. Oldies but goodies. I believe it was Hank Williams' tear in my beer.
Could have been, man.
Remember I called you up? I was like, I think there's a ghost in my house. I think it followed me home from the work site.
I don't remember you calling me, but I remember something about something going on and off
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, it
And
wouldn't
it's-
stop. It was like,
that's
but
funny.
because, things follow us home, man. I mean, be surprised.
Yeah.
We got to be careful.
Yeah,
I know, I do.
I don't wear it, and that's another topic we could talk about someday is religion and how it affects paranormal surroundings. And
That's
stuff.
why
and,
I'm safe, people.
like my father. I won't talk
GOD.
about it a lot, but my father, he was born and raised Catholic, and he believes that like when you die, you die. So it's like, how does that? But yet maybe I should wait because I'm gonna get all confused on what I'm talking about. That'll be for another day. That'll be another episode.
That's another show.
I'll make sure that don't get too confused and know what I'm
Okay.
talking about a little
That's
bit more
another
because
show.
I can't go from talking about these
All this
places
crazy
here
stuff to like religion.
Yeah, I
Getting
can't.
serious.
So,
But okay.
so one more other thing.
What's that, bud?
I should say one more because we could probably go on.
These seats are killing me, buddy.
I know they are. They are hurting. We're gonna have to talk to the.
Talk to management about these
Yeah,
seats.
we're gonna have to talk to somebody about it. Somebody that works in the studio.
I think I'm gonna need a wheelchair when I get out of here. I think I have to roll
Maybe
me
we
out.
should bring our canes next time, huh?
Yeah, just say that. I'm gonna bring a cushion or something. Pillows or something.
What's that place we were talking about a number of years ago going to? It was the train tunnel there.
Hosack Tunnel.
What is it?
Hosack Tunnel?
Hosack Tunnel?
Yeah, Hosack, I think. Yeah. Hosack Tunnel.
Something like that, if
yeah,
it's not
Hosack.
it. Yeah.
A lot of miners died,
What do you remember?
right?
Huh?
Didn't miners die in that train tunnel, I believe? or
Yeah, something like that. If anybody knows what we're talking about with this, give us some insight on it. I've heard a little bit about it.
Haunted tunnel, yeah.
I've been wanting to go to this place. There's nothing more eerie. Now, see, this is a huge creep factor for me. It's an old time, like train tunnel.
I heard
like
a lot
for
of
his-
miners died in that tunnel, I believe.
Yeah, I think there was like an explosion. But
yeah, something like that.
because of the creepness, it's almost like when I remember watching Ghostbusters 2, and they're in the old subway line.
I think I missed it.
Yeah, that scene, that tunnel.
Remember the train's
Was-
coming at him?
Yeah,
And he's
that-
like, ah.
That tunnel was creepy for me.
Is it just a train? He's like, I think I missed it.
Yeah, you catch the number of that train, I think he asked.
I
But yeah,
missed it.
you know, something like that would definitely creep me out day or night because once you walk inside, it's completely dark. But it's still active, so even if we did go, and
You have to
anybody's
be-
listening, if they want to go check it out, make sure you
Don't get hit by a train.
the train line is still active.
Yeah, one
You may
more
wanna-
thing. Yeah, one more thing you tell people when they do hunting, because this isn't all seriousness, people. Seriously, if you go anywhere, any haunting places, houses, two things you gotta worry about when they're old condemned buildings. A is asbestos.
Oh,
That
yeah.
stuff will kill
Yeah.
you. You wear an N95 mask when you hunt if you're going any place dirty. And another thing, safety glasses. Ask me why. You know what happened to one girl that went ghost hunting? She was in a house. A bat pooped on her eye. It's not funny. Bat poops on her eye. She's dead in 24 hours from bacteria from the
Oh,
bat
wow.
droppings. It was the ghost didn't kill her. Bat
Yeah.
excrement did. It actually fell from the ceiling, landed in her eye. She wiped it off. Oh, it's not a big deal. She was in the hospital within 24 hours and she died from poisoning. So if you ever go ghost hunting, people, safety first.
Yeah, and definitely-
Goggles, masks, gloves.
And I will point this out too, just as you know,
Not
you do what
funny.
you want to do. I'm not telling you not to,
Yeah.
but you know what? If you see a building that you want to go into, it's an old abandoned building,
You
and
be
they and they
careful.
and put they put those. It's not a sign. It's like the big X with the circle.
Yeah, that means it's going to demo
or
it.
it's a square.
It's condemned.
It's it's condemned. You shouldn't go
safe.
in there. It's not safe. The stairs,
You
floors,
can fall through the
anything, you could
floors,
fall.
remember?
Huh?
You fall through the floors and kill yourself.
Yeah. So
It's
again,
not
I'm
safe.
just warning anybody out there that's maybe wanting to start something, maybe do a ghost hunt somewhere.
Safety first.
Definitely, I wouldn't go in there. You
I'd
could
keep
get
away
in
from
trouble
those
if you do
places.
get caught. You probably will get in big trouble
Trespassing.
for it.
Trespassing.
So my advice is to call your local town
Just
or
like
city and
yeah,
just see if you
ask
can
them.
go in.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
like
and-
Spider Gates. When I went to Spider Gates, before I went there, you know, who I contacted the Quaker people that own the cemetery. I called the guy and I asked him. Then I called the chief of police in Leicester to make sure, like, hey, I'm going to be there. I got the okay from the person that owns Spider Gates, and I did everything the right way, and I was able to go. But I
Yeah.
did it the right way, and I did it the legal way. I didn't just
Right.
sneak in there and throw it on YouTube because it's disrespectful.
yeah.
This is a cemetery where people are buried that were loved ones and people. It's not throwing that on TV.
Right.
Respect the dead.
Yeah.
Always.
But no, I know we got off on topic on that one because we were talking about the real tunnel, and that's what I wanted to.
Either way, it's a
Go
cool
back.
topic. It's all
Yeah, it
ghost
is.
hunting. It's all
It is.
ghost hunting. It's all ghost hunting, buddy.
But what I was told, what I read,
How sad.
and was told that they were during, I guess, construction of the tunnel. I think there was a crane. Again, I'm asking for people to correct me on this if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
from what I remember, there was a crane. They were working above the tunnel. I think there was like an explosion.
Didn't
The
it
crane
cave in
fell
or
in.
something?
Huh?
Did a tunnel cave in or
I
something?
guess it caved in
Yeah,
with the
okay.
crane, I guess
Yeah.
itself.
And it killed
And
a
I guess
bunch
it
of
killed a bunch of miners, and now it's been rumored that
souls of the miners are
yeah,
there.
that they're in there trapped still.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would definitely go recommend and check it out. But like I said,
Wear
the-
wear eye goggles because bats love dark, cold
Yeah,
places like that. So
but-
seriously,
yeah.
wear some eye goggles just to
a
be
dark
certain.
tunnel, you definitely want to protect yourself. And again,
Yes.
I'm not going to stress enough. The line is still in use. Call the town, the city, or the rail service.
Figure out
Find
when it's
out if there's a certain time these trains come through.
Because you don't want to be there when it comes through on the
Yeah,
tracks.
I don't know how much width you're going to have between the
I don't
rock
think there's
wall
much
and the
width at all,
tracks.
honestly. I
So,
think it's like a couple of feet, dude.
I've seen some tunnels.
Yeah, it's like
and the trains go
slender.
through, and they are tight.
Like you're gonna get a close shave.
Yeah.
Kiss that beard goodbye, chief.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, the good thing about those tunnels is they don't go fast anyway, so you could outrun it.
I
but-
still don't want to. I didn't want to get in a situation where I'm running from a train coming
Yeah.
down the tracks, unless it's an action movie. Otherwise, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
So,
I know, right? Well, we could make it if we bring cameras. We could add some,
That's
theme music.
scandalous,
and,
but I guess why
uh,
not? I guess why not?
Be like the new Bruce Willis or something, running from the train. No, that wouldn't be the train. It was who was in the movie? Steven Seagal. It was what was that movie that he was on the train there?
Oh God, there's so many Steven Seagal movies. They're all the
I know,
same
but
to
there was
me.
one that was. I think he did two of them. I think the second one he was with his daughter. They were on a train, and there was like an explosive on it or something. I don't know.
Oh, let's just narrow
Under
that down.
Siege?
To like,
Was it Under Siege?
I thought that was on a boat.
It could have been. I know
Yeah, that
there's
was
one.
on
That,
a,
I think
that
there
was
was
like
one
on
he
a
was on a
battleship
train.
in the middle of the ocean. That was,
Anyway,
yeah. There's a Tommy Lee Jones.
was it Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, he was the bad guy. He was Tommy Lee Jones. He was the bad guy.
Tommy Lee Jones never played. No, he
Yes,
does
he
play
did.
bad guys, but no, I don't think. I
You
think
are
we're on
so-
two different. I think we're on two different movies here.
Well, I know there was Under Siege because it was on a battleship.
But I don't think.
Gary Busey was in it. Tommy
don't-
Lee Jones was the bad guy, and he was a cook in this movie. He's like, I'm just the cook, but he was like this kick-butt Navy SEAL kind of guy. You know, let me look it up.
You know, this is what I love about doing these podcasts and then having them
telling
on
you,
YouTube
you're
because
wrong.
people are gonna like, oh, Brett, you're wrong.
Okay, everybody, my name's
Tom,
Tom.
you're wrong.
Okay, I want people to go on the podcast, and you tell me it's Tommy Lee Jones was the bad dude, Gary Busey was a bad guy as well, and Steven Seagal, and I quote, said, I'm just the cook.
Steven Seagal said, "I'm just a cook."
I'm just the cook. That's all he was.
And it was
But
a Steven Seagal movie, though.
Yes,
talking
it was.
about.
Yep.
Okay.
It was Under Siege. It was on a battleship. And
Yeah,
there was a
and-
model in it. There was a blonde bombshell model. I forgot who she was, but she was on like Sports Illustrated. I forgot her name. Blonde hair, really cute looking girl.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Seagal movies. I was
And
never a
the
big
80s
fan
King.
of his, but
Not
Huh?
the 80s king.
80s King. Oh boy, here we go.
Oh,
Why don't we just jump into a new episode like right here and start talking about movies? Actually, we are going to talk about movies
We need some
in one of our
questions.
upcoming episodes.
these are questions too.
Yes.
Some,
So I don't know, Tom. I think. What do you think? I mean, is there any other things you
I don't know.
can think of? I mean, the train tunnel was the last one that was running through my brain real quick, but I know there's others that are out there.
There's
You know-
another place. I think it's in Leominster. It's called the Rev.
The Rev.
The Rev. It's a revolutionary cemetery in Leominster, and I've been there a few times. And you know, that's a really spooky cemetery, and a lot of paranormal things happen out there.
Yeah.
And you know, this is gonna sound weird, but I was in my car, right? So it's a really weird night at the Rev. It's a really weird cemetery, right?
All right, we're gonna make this quick because
Yeah.
I guess we're running out of time on
Oh,
this episode. I just got the word, I think. So
the
we're gonna
word.
have to-
Okay, so basically, really creepy place. UFO stuff happens. Check it out.
Definitely. All right, people. This was an awesome podcast.
I
that
think
we
it was
did.
really fun.
We're gonna do some more, and
Absolutely.
yeah, we're not using our "Stay Scared" motto.
No, it's just.
anymore 'cause
But it's not just another paranormal podcast.
exactly. So
people.
we're
We
gonna
have
bring
fun.
other stuff to you.
All right.
We want to thank you all for listening to our podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions or would like to be on the show, send us an email at njaparanormalpodcast@gmail.com. And that's it. We'll see you all later.
Bye bye. Thanks for viewing. Appreciate
All
it.
right.